Hey guys, we're back again. It's been a whole week since the last time we were here, which seems crazy. Um, Welcome back to the weekly update, KSI's number one news show, KSI's only news show, so we're number one by default. I don't say anything until I see myself. So this week we got a show for you about recruiting. We're going to focus on why we recruit in KSI and how we recruit in KSI. So if you're watching this and you got any ideas for questions, if you want any advice or tips from the people on this panel, get those ready to put onto the chat as we go along. So first off, we're going to go through. It is Hulk has a echo.
Sorry.
So as you guys know, if you've been here before, we're going to go through some news and some announcements, and then we're going to introduce the panel, and then we're going to get into what we're doing. So, first off, for news and for those things, we have our KSI weekly events that happen each and every weekend. After tonight, or after this show tonight, right now, we have. Is it the director's battle? We're having a game night again. It's MP versus LW. So everyone's going to want to tune in and watch that. It'll be a great show. And then tomorrow we got Weekend Warfare. It's a Xbox One Call of Duty Black Ops 3 4v4 Team Deathmatch tournament. And those signups are on the forums. So if you have a team or you're assembling a team and you haven't signed up yet, go to the forums and sign up in the T&E section like now, but really you have to like tomorrow, but like do it now. Um, Also news and announcements. We have marketing backup. The marketing department's starting. We got KSI Fire Fist, aka Crew, running the marketing department. So they're going to be working on outreach across um, the internet and all that stuff to try to advertise KSI to prospective members on other forum or gaming forums, gaming outlets, and all that stuff. Hopefully, spread the KSI name and hopefully bring new members here. So that's awesome. The marketing's back up. Uh, what else? We have two new mods, Panzer and Reigns are the two new mods on WebOps. So we definitely want to give a big shout out to those two. Reigns has been everywhere, and Panzer's good people. So really awesome news for those two. Um, that's really all the news I got right now. I'm sure we'll come up with something later, but um, right before we move on from news, actually, um, sign up for departments, apply to be parts of departments. We got news team and productions are specifically looking for people. I don't know if applications are open for other departments. I think history might be accepting people. Is T&E accepting people right now?
Yes.
Yes, T&E is accepting people right now. So apply to be part of these departments. Get involved in KSI. Take your experience to the next level and get further involved into every awesome thing that we offer. So apply to departments. So we got the panel. As we move on to our actual topic of the evening. Looks like May's gonna disconnect. Nope, she's back. So we got on the panel tonight. As you guys see it on your screen, we got KSI Akami 7, who's back for the consecutive time. He's not going to leave us ever. We got KSI Game Crazy 7. I believe this is his second appearance on the show. So
Third.
Happy to have him back. We got Havoc, everyone's favorite senior, unless you like Greg or Cheddar more. But Havoc's here, so that's awesome. We got KSI Hulk V3, the only non-7 in here.
Hi.
He's happy to be here, as he should be. I wish that more people would want to be part of the panel, like Hulk, but I'm not going to, hold a grudge against anybody. We got KSI May 7. We got I skipped me, but no one cares about me. And then we got Mighty slash KSI America 7. So this is Mighty's second time on the show. So anyways,
Third.
we got a few newbies in May and Hulk, but hope that you guys enjoy having them on the panel as much as hopefully we'll enjoy having them on the panel. So let's go ahead and move on to our topic of the night. And I'm going to turn it over to the panel to kind of start talking about this. But obviously, gaming communities require a certain level of recruiting to sustain what's going on, to grow, to open opportunities, and to share the community experience with prospective members. So I want to get a little bit of an outline from some people on the panel. Why do we in KSI recruit? Why does KSI recruit new members? Anybody who wants to take that, go ahead and start the conversation.
Sure.
Okay, so
Oh,
I'll let Havoc
I
go.
guess the comments go.
No, Havoc, you go. It's
I guess
your
I'll
first
just say
appearance
as a
here,
starting
so
point. Yes, but MP didn't say that. He only mentioned May and Hulk. I guess just as a starting point, recruiting, a lot of people tend to look at it as this quantitative thing that we want to bring up numbers. When the actuality is that each one of those numbers represents an individual. So when we go out and recruit, the point is that you're bringing in future leaders. You're bringing in prospective people that are going to contribute to the community. The more people you bring in, the more new faces, the more skill sets, the more experience that you're bringing into this community, and the more we grow based off on that collective experiences that those individuals bring in. So the people we bring in, those are the people that will eventually be the leaders. So we recruit to make sure that we continue on.
I wouldn't just say bringing in future leaders, though. It's also giving those people that have a hard time reaching out to people that opportunity to make new friends and experience what online gaming is all about, as well as making them new friends and giving them that reason to come online a bit more often.
Now, Akami, you said Hulk is a really good recruiter for you, right?
I did.
So, Hulk, why do you recruit? Why do you bring people in, and what do you tell other people as to why they should recruit?
It just helps. Well, one, it helps the community grow. It's always great having the community grow. And another few things is, it gives you more people to play with and gets you to meet more people, even around the country, around the globe. As you know, Akami is over there in England, over there across the ocean. So it's great meeting people from different places, along with having fun with more, and it gives you more people to play with at a time, because you can just say if your normal people aren't on that you play with, or if people that you want to play with aren't on, there's always other people that are online throughout your time of day, so it just makes your gaming experience a lot more fun than what it would be. So it just makes it all fun, and just everybody just to get relax, talk to new people. I do it because I like playing games and I like meeting new people, of course. It just makes everything so much funner.
So, whoever May or America or Game Crazy, what do you guys tell people when if someone asks you, why do we recruit, or what's the point of recruiting? I don't know how many times I'm going to ask that question. What's the point of recruiting? What do you guys try to tell your members?
Well, for me, I try to tell them, it's all about bringing in like-minded individuals, and that's people who we think will fit in well here. Again, we are a family, an invite-only family at that, and It's all about finding those people you connect with and really that represent themselves the right way, so we know they're going to represent us the right way.
What about you, May? If you're still here.
Yeah, I'm still here. Um, I usually just tend to tell them it's kind of more like I don't really know how to explain how I say it. It's about making friends and having fun, helping the community grow.
And do you guys feel? Does everyone in this panel feel? And feel free to lie. Do you guys feel like you've had a good enough KSI experience where you want to share that with other people, that you want to get other people in to share the same experience that you've been able to have here in this community?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
I do.
definitely.
I agree. I mean,
Someone can feel free to expound on that if you'd like.
I mean, for me personally, when I joined this community, I was in a pretty low dark place. Sorry to lower the tone a bit, but if it weren't for this community and the people I met, I'd have probably still been in a dark place. But this community opened up not just a lot of opportunities for me, but it opened me up to a lot more friends. And some of the people that I'm really grateful for meeting are in this party right now, and Havoc is one of them. Because I mean, Havoc was pretty much the first sort of senior leader I met when I was moving up through the ranks and getting into the leaders ranks, and just his knowledge and everything that he brought to the table from that KSI experience made me think, yeah, I've joined a great community here.
Thank you.
I agree.
How come we never get Lux in this party?
Lucky I can play the
Lux,
I'm not going to
Lux-
get into a debate on that one.
Lux posted
Well,
up, and I'll read what Lux
yeah.
said. Was what I tell my members is recruiting is a double thing. One, it's to make sure there's enough people to play with in game and have, but then you also have to look at it like there's people leaving on a daily basis, so you have to keep bringing in people in order to have a functioning community. And I think that what that really does, what that comment really does, that second, especially that last part, is if we had our way, we wouldn't have. I mean, people were always going to leave for personal issues or whatever. But that kind of leads the conversation where I wanted to go anyway, which is what can we do? What can recruiters do? What can other members do? What can squads, divisions, leaders do to retain the members we're recruiting in? Because you don't want to, man, empires, Jesus. You don't want to keep recruiting in people on like this, carousel. You don't want to bring them in, fluff up the number, and have them leave the next week and keep bringing in new people. But people are going to leave. But what can we do to retain the members we recruit so they can have every opportunity that we've had? What are some things that you guys have done to help retain members?
Well, when you're out recruiting, you definitely want to try to get quality recruits. Most of them you try to do quality over quantity, but you can do like I try to make sure when I was like a general and stuff. Even now, I try to make sure I play with the members, keep them interested, and try to talk to the seven staff about new ways we can come up and keep members here and having fun still. Not I try to make my rounds around to meet new recruits and stuff, so they feel like, oh, I'm meeting somebody important, like that's pretty cool, or invite them to something so they try to stay and be more interested.
Right, and
Make them
piggy
feel
off game a
important.
little bit. Sorry to cut you off the game. Um, Again, it's getting these people active, keeping them engaged in some type of way, whether it's going on the forums, whether it's including them in more events. You'd be surprised who really excels when you give them a task to do. Um, and it's also reminding them why they joined. Like, I know even for us as leaders, sometimes we may or may not lose sight of that. And so by remembering why we joined, we're able to stay here and keep pushing and keep doing what we do.
I think that's one of the most important things, and doesn't always get talked about, is member retention. Sometimes being a leader, and this is, I'm very much guilty of this. It's easy to look at the community as these are the members that are a part of the community, part of your community, that you're the leader. But in reality, we're here to serve the members. So they're not members in our community, but we're the leaders in their community. The community is here for the members, and that we're leaders here within it. And when there's a constant push to always get new people in, and people forget about member retention, and the squad starts to stagnate, it's harder to remember that we're here for them. And that in order to retain members, we have to listen to the members, and remind them what the community represents, what we're here to do, that we're here to come together and we're here to play video games. And sometimes that gets lost.
Yeah, and just going off what Havoc said there, member retention, one thing I found that really works with member retention is actually getting to know the members, especially the new members, finding out what games they enjoy to play, and actually introducing them to people that are into similar games, have similar interests, because that then gives them that perspective of having what we call the KSI experience, what we've all had here as leaders, and Hulk has had as a captain, is getting to know those people that have similar interests, because that's what keeps people entertained in the community, because they have people that they know, that they've got to know, that have got to know them, and they enjoy gaming with.
Yeah, I think you all hit on really important points. If I hear myself through Empire's side one more time, I'm gonna throw something. Jeez. Okay, so KSI Warrior Ace posted up in the chat. I showed them that they do have a purpose, and it's not just about the numbers or their playing ability. It's all about them expanding themselves, and I think that's really an important thing. I think you guys touched on that a little bit, but take a Kami story. People who come into KSI, I mean, it's more, we all come here to play games and have fun and have a good time. But I think that opportunities like this, when you get to meet other people, you get to experience things, and you get to go through the ringer that is KSI, you get to find out a lot about yourself. You get to improve yourself. How many times have we gotten these shy kids in here, and by the time they're done in KSI, or even if they're still in KSI, they found confidence, they found their voice, they found their leadership ability, they found things about them they didn't have before. There's so many intrinsic things that KSI brings out of people that we can't put that really in a recruiting message, because everybody gets out of it something different. Everybody gets out of it what they put into it and what they open themselves up to find. So, we got the gaming side, we got the fun, we got the experience, but we have this self-discovery so many people go on when they join a community like this, where they feel like they have a safety net and they have a support system. And that's really what makes it a community and not just a clan or just a team. Now, Reigns asked a great question, and I like that we're getting these questions that are sort of steering the debate. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, guys. Feel free to continue to put in questions. How do you help an officer who struggles with getting recruits? And I'll expand that beyond just an officer. How do you help somebody, anybody that's in your squad or in this community that wants to recruit but struggles with it? What do you tell them? What tips do you give them? What have you done that's worked? How can we help that officer or that member recruit better and get better results?
I know for me personally, showing somebody recruiting, I still do it now, even as a coded leader. I'll go out with them recruiting. I'll train them, and if they're still not confident, go out with them. On their way out, if they're still not comfortable after that, I'll let them go over the recruiting process with me. If it takes an hour, I'll let them literally sit down and recruit me in. and have me walking through all the steps, the code of conduct, everything, and like I'll be like just a recruit. I'll be like, how do you do this? How do you do this? And I found that that helps them when they sit down and go over it, step by step with somebody, and you ask them the question. It really helps them with the recruiting process, and then watching other people recruit helps them as well. It's something I've done with some people that have helped them become a better recruiter.
I agree with Game Crazy. I've done that with a couple of our members, and now a couple of those members are actually some of our best recruiters in Forsaken. It's just awesome how much it shows the improvement and how much you actually want to recruit after you sit down with them and help and show them and help them with what they want to do in KSI, where they want to help you make it grow, or they just want to learn how to recruit. That way they can say that they've recruited and they've done it. It's just a good feeling knowing that they know how to do it after you help them, sit down with them, help them do it.
One thing I remember. Yeah. You want to go?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. I think for me, as long as taking them under our winger, as well as more or less introducing those who are maybe strong at recruiting, but it's also getting them in that mental aspect. Because everyone, when you say we're recruiting, I feel like everyone just tenses up. Like, oh man, like I actually have to do this. And I found once you just get out there and realize that it's a process. You're not, for every message you send out, you're not always going to get one that's interested back. And it's understanding that, it takes time. It's going to take effort. It's to make sure you don't, hang your head down, so to speak, but you keep your head held high. You keep putting in the effort. I was never the strongest recruiter at first. Again, it was a process. And once I understood it, and I kept picking at it and picking at it and picking at it, that's when I started to find success. But again, if you have to be able to put in that effort and to have that, I believe, that mindset.
Now, yeah, here's something I want to pose as a question to the panel and to everyone who's watching this, all 20 people. Y'all, you guys got to bring some friends to this. Recruit some people to this show. Let's get above like 50. We're sitting at 20 again. Come on, y'all. But when we look at other people, okay, so let's pretend everyone in this panel, we're on one squad. And I'm watching somebody like Game Crazy. Not saying Game Crazy does this, but Game Crazy's going on again. Lots of recruits. 5, 10 a week. He's ridiculous. And everyone's like all jealous, and I get really down on myself. And I find one recruit. If my one recruit stays 2 years and all 10 of Game Crazies are gone after a month or two, who is really the better recruiter?
You were. You got a quality
Quality.
recruit. You got a quality recruit. I just went out and did massive quantity recruiting. My recruits, I got pretty much just numbers, and they left. You were pretty much the better recruiter.
And that's what I think that we need to tell our members. I mean, everyone had their different. There's a certain period of time where, like, if they stay a certain amount, then of course they've gotten that experience. I like to say that a goal for every recruit is to stay at least 3 months. I know that that's kind of like, it might seem like a low number, but I mean, just in general, 3 months is a long time. I think I always say KSI runs in 3-month cycles. So every 3 months you have this huge turnover on the recruiting ranks. But yeah, we look at other members and we look at you can be an officer and get really down on yourself as you watch Captain Superhero go out there and recruit all these guys, and you feel bad because I've only gotten one recruit and he's gotten 5. Well, if your recruit stays, participates, gets involved, and has a good experience, and all of his are gone within a couple weeks, yeah, by far you absolutely did a better job. And it is about getting the people who are going to stay above just going out and getting crazy amounts. And that's where you got to build people up. That person who's only getting one recruit a week, they're still contributing, and they need to know that. And they need to know that any one of those recruits that they get has an opportunity to make a difference in KSI and make a home in KSI. And that's what's really important. What do we got in here? We got another comment. I feel that if you were going to help an officer recruit, is always work with them and help them through it. I feel like practice makes perfect and just work with them. I'll sit with them and I feel that this is an amazing way. Man, the chat keeps moving. This is an amazing way also how they are sending messages, playing lobbies to see what people see, how KSI acts. And that's the thing is, I think when we go out and playing and give the KSI tag, I've gotten a couple messages now from people who want to get recruited in just from playing. When you play and you play well or you play appropriately, like, not threatening to kill people's mamas and stuff. Just having the name, they know you're in a community. And, we're not going to spend time tonight talking about the security stuff. Don't worry about any of that stuff. I understand if you get a message from someone, they could be a risk or something, but forget that for a minute. Just having that KSI tag, people are going to instinctively know you're in a community and maybe they're looking for that opportunity. So,
Okay.
Yeah, you go.
So going off what Impy said, yeah, KSI, we're a massive community, but not everyone associates KSI with the gaming community. And having to explain the difference between ourselves, the community, and the KSI YouTuber, yes, it can get irritating. So having that knowledge of the community and what the community can bring to people whilst recruiting is also a great way to expand the community in a positive way, just to get the knowledge out there.
Now, I got a question here for May, sitting down here, being quiet. Got a question for you. And after you answer it, we'll open up to the rest of the panel and anybody who wants to comment in the chat.
Okay.
What do you look for in a recruit? When you play with a recruit, when you meet a recruit, what are some aspects in that recruit you're looking for? And what are some that kind of turn you off or as a red flag as to whether or not that person should be a part of this community?
Basically when I'm looking for a recruit, I'll usually pull them aside, sit down, game for them for a bit. As I'm gaming with them, I learn who they are and how they act. One of the things I try to stay away from them is when they mention oh, I know people that mod and I know people that hack, and I make sure to go through their friends list before I sit and do this, because I don't want to sit and waste my time just sitting with someone in a game. But I tend to look for people who use less of the profanity. They act more like an adult for their age.
Shoot. If I was playing with May, I would have never got recruited.
Well,
no, but that's fine. No, you're right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. What about the rest of you guys in here? What are some things that you look for? One thing I looked for is I looked for responsiveness whenever I would talk about KSI. If I had identified them as a recruit, I would go through the same things as May. But if I started to talk about KSI, if I had someone who seemed like they were captivated by what I was saying, if they were really interested in learning more about it, and like I said, throw out the security risk thing. I know some of you guys in here are probably sitting here and saying, "Oh, maybe it's a risk, and they're just trying to get information." Throw that out of your mind for a minute. I loved having someone who was captivated by talking about KSI and someone who actually seemed to take initiative and take interest in it. What are some of the other things you guys looked for in recruits that made you think this guy's going to be a great recruit, or girl going to be a great recruit, or if they would say something, you'd be like, nah, dropping this guy quick?
I believe. Oh, sorry. You want to go? Or you want me to go?
Go on, America. You go.
Okay. For what I believe, again, I'm all about professionalism and conducting yourself the right way. Not looking for that guy that teabags. I also like the active teammate, and that's the one that makes the call outs. It's not the one that's like, oh man, you suck, do this, do that. But I like the ones that say, hey man, they're over here at Mohawk. If you're playing on Halo 4 there and making all these call outs, being involved in the game. Like I said, I think that speaks volumes, because if they're acting the right way when you meet them in these random game lobbies, that they're going to conduct themselves the right way here. And I think that sets the tone, really, and the standard for me anyways. That's what I look for.
Who did you cut off?
Oh.
It was getting crazy, right?
Comment?
No,
I think I cut off the comment.
No, it was Hulk. It was Hulk.
Was it?
As Hulk.
You can go hard
Whoops.
Hulk.
One thing that I look for in recruits is you know how our youngest age requirement is 15. This is a personal story I actually had with somebody. It happened just about last month. I asked him how old he was. He's like 14. I told him that our youngest age we can recruit is 15. He's like, my birthday is on August 6th. I asked him if he's willing to wait till then. He said, sure. I had him play with me. I get a message from him earlier this week. He's like, I'm 15 now. I mean, it's just the inconsistency of some people with their age and the fact that they don't always want to be truthful. And they take people for granted. Like with the lying and whatnot. Not all people do it. I'm just saying there are some people out there that will. And it's not fair to those. So when you're like, that's what gets me is when I recruit somebody, they tell me one age and all of a sudden they turn around about a couple weeks later, it was, well, I'm 15 now. It's just like you said, August. We have one member that was waited from, I want to say it was about December till about March where he was able to be recruited. But I mean, it's just honesties. You see how honest they are when you talk to them at first is one thing to always look at. If they like stutter when they try to tell you something, it's really a clear sign of that it's questionable, and it's up to you if you want to really take their word for it at the time.
Okay, so bouncing off Hulk's story there about the ages and the honesty, I have a kid on my friends list, and it's right to call him a kid because he's only 13 at the moment. And when we first met him, he was like what Impy was looking for in a member. He was captivated by what we were saying about KSI, and he was disappointed that he couldn't join. He was really honest with his age, and he's still waiting to join now. And that was nearly 2 years ago I met him. He's really mature for his age, and he's still looking forward to joining KSI when he's old enough. And he still games with some of the members that we have. I still game with him. And the fact that he's still waiting to join a community shows that it doesn't matter about the recruiting process in essence, but how you put across the community to them recruits. If you put across the community in a great way, you are going to get those quality recruits, especially those that are going to be in here for the long haul.
Okay, we got one last question. I'm going to double it up so it's like two different parts. And then we're going to wrap up the discussion after this discussion. So, two questions here, both off the chat. Do you think it's better to try and recruit in a group of 2 or 3 or just try to go solo? And second part, Lux put it in there. What are good ways to successfully mass message recruits since it hasn't been asked yet? So, first part, guys, and you can answer both parts, anybody in the panel. Would you recommend going solo or would you recommend going in groups? And then what are some mass messaging techniques that you have done or you have heard of people do that seem to work? Or I'll just say outreach attempts instead of mass messaging in general, just outreach.
I think it all depends on how you look at the first part of that. Because I found success doing both. It all depends on, I guess, the game you're on, I want to say. So if you're, like, say, for me on Halo 4, if I'm playing SWAT, I want to have as much randoms as possible on my team. So I can have more interaction with other people. Now, if I do something like maybe big team or something like that, I'll bring a couple of people along with me because I want to have, again, more interaction with randoms. Because essentially that's what we're trying to get. We're trying to bring in these people that we're essentially going to be paired up against or with. That's just my personal opinion on it. It has, like I say, it goes both ways on that one.
Also depends who you are and if you work better by yourself or with a group. For me, I work better by myself. I prefer to actually go out recruiting alone, so I can be in a game chat. I can talk to people, and I feel that sometimes when people see a larger group of people together and like they're doing good, or you might steer them away sometimes. So I feel like going out by myself is a lot better than going with a group. I know a couple of people that like going out with a group and do a really good job with it. And for like the mass recruits, when I don't sometimes I don't do mass message, I talk in game chat, and it's just about like bouncing off back to another question. If or another answer or a question that was popped up, you talk to people and you get people interested. You just keep talking to them and game with them. So when I get people like that, I don't send out a mass message. I sit there and talk to them, and I give them history of KSI and how long KSI has been around for, what game type we started on. I break it down to like the divisions and squads and get them interested. And they're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, are you competitive? And I explain like weekend warfare and stuff. And so when you're doing like mass message, it all depends on your hook in your message. If you talk about the community, the game nights, people might join that way. If you talk about weekend warfare and the fun, it's another way. So it all depends on how what game type you're on and what you're trying to get back as a response. Like if you want a lot of people, maybe send out about like the tournaments and all that. If you're trying to get like only a couple of people, I guess what I'm trying to say. Why are you laughing? Don't laugh at me.
I wasn't. I'm pretty sure Flyers burped in the background.
Oh. We heard it. That's my
sorry.
That's
no, you're good. May would never recruited me. A fart or a burp, and I'm completely useless. I just laugh at everything. I think you guys have covered the bases really well. Hulk, you want to give us our closing thing for this discussion before we move on to shoutouts?
Yeah. And like I agree with I think it was Empires that said this. I can't remember who exactly said it, but it depends on where you stand about the first part. Like in ways, going with a group can help, and in other ways, doing it by yourself can be helpful. But what was the second part again?
Mass messages.
Mass messages are outreach.
And mass messages, that is not necessarily always the best way now, since they took it out of the main function for Xbox now, and you have to do it through smart glass. I've seen people get comms blocked for a day or so for mass messaging, even when they've said it's KSI people report it, or if Xbox sees you mass messaging, they will crack down. So try not to do mass messaging after every game or something. Like, do it every few games. That way it doesn't seem so suspicious in ways.
I agree.
I know it's very helpful, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to not do it, but it's just Xbox took it out because they were tired of it on the 360. People were getting upset by it on the 360, which I don't really see what was wrong with it on the 360. I didn't mind getting mass messages or sending out mass messages, but others did.
Okay, guys. I think we covered this pretty well. I think this is a topic we can talk about for a long time. I think that's what we can do every week. But I think this is a good stopping point. We're about 42 minutes in. We still got to do shout outs before we move on to whatever's going on next. And so, couple things real fast, y'all. One, panel, thank you very much. Did an awesome job. Y'all, guys, people in the chat. I want to give a little announcement for next week. One, you're all awesome for being here. I have 3 things to say about this, actually. One, chat people, awesome. Good discussion, good questions, good conversation. Love you guys so much. It's the same couple of you every week. Bring a friend next week. Like, recruit some people to the show. If everyone in here brings a friend, we're going to be up to 40 or 50 people next week. So let's bring a friend next week. Everyone bring one new person next week and introduce him to the weekly update. That'd be a really awesome thing. 2, once again, you guys are awesome. I love your guys' enthusiasm and you guys being involved in here, and you're behaving yourselves. And number 3, and this goes back to last week and the week before and the week before that, when I do shout outs and I say people's names wrong, it's because Empires can't type that well on Kick and he butchers the hell out of these messages. And so I don't know what I'm reading sometimes. So I apologize if I say your gamer tag wrong, or if I say your buddy's gamer tag wrong, or I say your spouse's gamer tag wrong. It's not a personal affront. I don't hate them. Empires just can't type. So just letting you know. They can't hear you, so you're wrong. So we have a couple shout outs off the bat, and I love these shout outs. I actually got this one from Terror and Reigns. They want to give a shout out to KSI Love7, the founder of MP, and KSI Lucy Luck 7, because today is their birthdays. So happy birthday to all of them. I think Lucy's about 103 years old. So happy 103rd birthday to him. And then also they would like to, or I guess it's just Reigns, I would like to give a good job shout out to all of MP for all the great work they've been doing. So shout out to all of MP for the work they've been doing. We got shout outs to KSI Sage. In the face of adversity, he has grown to become more calm and properly assess the situation. His knowledge has increased exponentially, +5 for the vocabulary. His strength is unparalleled, and his integrity is right there where we want it. He's an awesome guy and a great member. So shout out to Sage. We got a shout out to KSI Bush for continuing toward a split. KSI Fatality 7 for taking Caesar head on to deal with the events that have been going on there, but doing a good job of handling that. We got a shout out to KSI Papa Shock 7, who I believe is part of the marketing team now. So there's a shout out for him for being part of the marketing team, and also for bringing some awesome ideas for ES to use. And then we got a bubble shout out to DM from IA for doing their thing and keeping the div safe. So shout out to DM for being very security aware. And we got a shout out to KSI Gotham 7 and KSI Miss Attitude for coming together over the last week and holding down the fort. Keep up the amazing work. Is that from Pliers? Pliers, is that from you? That's directly from Pliers. So shout out to Gotham 7 and Miss Attitude from Pliers. Panel. Let's hear your shout outs. We'll start with Akami. You can go first. And if you don't give a shout out to Hulk for being part of this, then I just put you on the spot and you have to now.
Damn it, you just stole my thunder, Impy. You just stole my thunder. But yeah, I was going to give a massive shout out to Hulk, especially with him taking charge of the squad while his general was on an LOA and making sure everything ran smoothly. And especially for taking part in this week's weekly update. Great job, Hulk, and keep up the good work, man. I would also like to give a shout out to KSI Rocco for getting his squad ready to split and just keeping up the good work that he's been putting in for the past few months.
Is that it? You have a habit of ending your sentences in ways that make me think that you're not done.
Yeah, I know. Call it British. Call it British mannerisms.
Okay. Game crazy. Let's hear your shout outs.
I wanted to shout out to all of DR that did an amazing job. I want to give out shout out to my Xbox One squad. KSI Lux 7 is the general, and KSI Kilimanjaro is the captain. They've been doing an amazing job with the one squad, getting the activity growing and getting officers moved up. They turned the one squad around. They're doing an amazing job over there. And then a couple promotions we had. KSI Emerald Boa became our newest 7. She's doing an amazing job already. She's been a 7 for one day, and she's on top of things and very knowledgeable person. I'm glad to have her do a 7 staff. And then KSI Eternal God, I'm becoming DR's newest general over Elysium. He's very knowledgeable, been contributing in the workshops and stuff, and I'm glad. I can't wait to see what these guys can do. But overall, my division's doing really well, so it's my shout out.
Woo! Havoc.
Oh gosh. I wanted to give a shout out to KSI MSOG Savage 7 for doing an awesome and amazing job in DM. Not to step on Mighty's toes.
Is that your only shout out? Isn't there a certain number one host that you want to give a shout out to?
Yes, of course, MP. None of the power, but all the commitment. And you definitely make sure that we work together and come together and collaborate, which is awesome and always appreciated, because getting caught up in our daily tasks of what we have to do can sometimes let us forget that there are others that we need to be working with across KSI. So
that was a lot more thoughtful than I thought it would be. You're making me tear up. Hulk, you can get some shout outs.
Alright, I'd like to thank the 7s in this party, in the panel here, for inviting me on to the weekly update. It's very fun. I appreciate the chance to be upon here. And I'd like to shout out to, as Akami said, Rocco as well. He's done a great job along with his officer staff, and of course Forsaken as well, which is a squad I'm a part of. Though we've lost a few members here lately, they keep their spirits high, and they know that we can keep doing better.
You're in Forsaken, LS?
Yes, sir.
That's the first squad I was in KSI. Oh, memories.
Over a decade ago.
Oh my god, it wasn't that long ago. Oh, no, it'll be my 5-year, officially 5-year in June. June will be my 5-year. I think I get a pin, and I think I get a half-off coupon at Bennigan's. So I'm really excited for that. Okay. Any more shout-outs, Hulk, or is that it?
That is it.
Okay. May.
You have to check the chat for me.
What? Oh. Oh, I see this. Oh, there. Okay. See, is that Snip the Wabbit, or is that like Snipe? I don't know.
Snipe, I think it stands
Snipe.
for. That'd be...
Wabbit was on my news team, and I never learned how to say his name right. I just...
Wabbit.
Wabbit.
You ever watch the old Looney Tunes and everything like that?
Yeah.
Elmer Fudd. Wabbit.
Shout out to KSI Snipe the Wabbit for being a great gen and working hard, get his squad active, staying on top of things, and shout out to KSI Empires for just being amazing. Man, how much does he pay you people to say these things?
A lot of money.
We apparently know 2 different Empires.
About $1,000 every 2 days he pays us.
That's all the
pays
money
us
that he's
with
spending that he
love
can't
and
afford a
cookies.
damn decent haircut. Ugh. Oh, and you probably still look like a raggedy person.
Impy, he pays us
Hashtag.
with love and cookies because he can't afford anything else because of all the alcohol.
Oh, and then I guess, Mighty, do you have any shout outs?
Absolutely. I have quite a few actually. Obviously, I'm gonna shout out my division DM. For continuing to do great things, overcoming different challenges and adversities and continuing to powering our way through things. Obviously to KSI Monkey 7, she's our newest co-founder, promoted her last night. And obviously, as Havoc said earlier, KSI Miss OG Savage 7. Obviously, they all been doing a great job. Obviously, I'd like to shout out IA, for keeping us safe, and definitely TNE for keeping things fun on the weekends when I have nothing else to do.
And a shout
and
out to the
Deluxe.
weekly update for keeping Friday really awesome. Thanks, Mighty. You're the best.
Hey, no problem. Shout out
And
to
the
Impy
meme.
for taking that loss in Rocket League like a champ.
Dude, we're gonna get that rematch. We're gonna get that rematch.
When I get that game, I want a part of that.
I'll
probably have it next
now,
week.
Pliers, just tell me, Pliers, what you want me to shout out real fast. Do you want any other shout outs this week? What? Oh man, there are messages here.
Rip. Damn, P.
Dude, you still look like a homeless. What is that mustache? You look like your name should be like Paco. Anyways, shout out to
Wow.
Fuzzy Meat for surviving at home with siblings. Chug, 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 chug. LOL. Another Bubble shout out. So Bubbles want to shout out to Fuzzy for alcoholism and surviving his family, I guess. Woo! Go Fuzzy! Which, by the way, why wasn't he here tonight? Normally he shows up halfway through the show. Anyways, we got 15 you guys left. Those are our shout outs for the week. I want to give a shout out. I give a shout out to Crew for coming over here and starting up marketing again. I'll give a shout out to KSI Dr. 7, gone but not forgotten. He's not dead. He's still completely here, but you're still in our memory. You're still in our thoughts and our memories, Doc. Love you. And then just shout out to all you guys that show up here every week. It's really awesome that you guys come in here and you make this such a good experience. Next week, we have an awesome show for you guys. It's planned right now. We're announcing the topic right now, so you know. Next week is a special edition for all about women leaders in KSI. As you guys know, this is a very male-dominated community. Xbox gaming itself is just male-dominated. The wonderful women who join this community put up with a lot of our shit and work their way up the ranks, have to go through a lot. And so next week is all about talking to them and about the stuff they've had to deal with, and really focusing on some of the awesome women leaders we have here in KSI. So come out next week, support KSI in total. Bring a friend next week. If everyone can bring a friend, we'll double because that's how numbers work. If you bring twice as many people, you get double the amount of people. So that math seems to work out to me. So let's try to aim for like 50 next week. Let's keep bringing more and more people to this shindig. Let's continue to make this an awesome show. If any of you guys have any thoughts, criticisms, ideas, post it up in the forums, send me a message on the forums, send me a message on here, add me as a friend, send me letters, write them with blood, show up at my doorstep, set my house on fire, kidnap me. Just let me know what we can do to make the show better, to improve on it, or let us know what your ideas are. So, with that being said, if no one else in the panel has anything left to say,
Can I say one more thing?
we are done.
Before we
Game
end
Crazy has
this?
something else to say. Yes.
This is a shout out to kind of a new member. I forgot to add it. His name is KSI Swing. I'm gonna give him a shout out for being one of the most knowledgeable and one of the knowledgeable sergeants I've ever met. He's been this guy already comes in knowing most of everything we do, living with been friends with one of my generals and stuff. Literally, he knows the rank structure, the training process, what captains do, lieutenants do. He's one of the most knowledgeable sergeants I've ever met, and I just want to give him a shout out for for that. Remember, being able to retain information and giving it back to being able to help people and stuff. So, KSI Swing, keep up the good work, man. I hope you do move up in rank. So, yeah, that's my last shout out. Sorry, forgot it.
Just in under the buzzer.
Yep.
So, once again, guys, thanks for showing up. I'm imagining Pliers is going to take a few minutes break to let things cool down because I'm really just trying to see if his computer will blow up. So give it like 10, 15 minutes, and Pliers is going to be right back. 30? 30. So we're starting at 8:30. Okay, starting at 8:30 will be that. What is it? It's LP. It's what division?
MP versus LW.
MP versus LW. I tried to combine them. LP versus MW. My God! MP versus LW tonight for that thing. It'll be starting in 30 minutes right here at twitch.tv/KSI Live. So bring people in, especially if you're from those two divisions. Get some banter going. Threaten each other. Don't do that. That's against the code of conduct. But have a good time. And we'll see you guys again next week.
It could be like